Hi, boys and girls. So today we are going to read a new book, and that book is There's No Place Like Home. So, as we are going to read this new book, I would like you to know that I sent this book on your Active Learn account, and therefore I would like you to read this book so that when you're discussing, at least you're familiar with the questions. So, now before we start, I would like you to know that most people live in different places, okay? Most of people live in flats or in houses, in cities, but some people live in very unusual places, okay? Unusual. The word unusual means something not common, okay? So they live in unusual places. Okay, so now when you're reading this book, we're going to look at different places that people live in, okay? So there's no place like home. Okay, no. So as we start, we are going to use the content. As you can see, we have the content over here. We will be using this content and we will be looking at each and every screen to read the book. So we are going to make predictions. So let's predict what might be ahead of us in the book. So this is the question. What kind of place do you think we might be finding about? What kind of place do you think we might be finding about? So as you're making predictions, remember we said that you have to look at the picture to give you clues. So here we are going to look at the picture to give us clues, and we are going to look at the content. So what kind of place do you think we might be finding about? So I would expect you to give me your answers according to the content. You can see unusual homes, in the freezer, all at sea, a view from above, all aboard, living on an island, the middle of nowhere, glossary, and index. Okay, so now I would expect you to predict and give me your answer. So we've started with screen 2, okay, screen 2, and the title is Unusual Homes. Okay, so now before we start, I would like to ask you another question. Would you please tell me where you live? Where do you live? How does it look like? Okay, how does it look like? So I would like you to write down your answer. Where do you live? How does it look like? That is a discussion. So you will tell me everything about the place that you live. Is it cold? Is it hot? Okay, how is the weather like? Where would you get food from? Okay, where do you always get food from? Something like that. Okay, so most people live in flats or houses in cities, towns, or villages. But some people live in very unusual or exciting places. So how do people manage to live in the coldest places on earth? That is a question for you. So can you imagine living and working in space? Wow, I would like you to think about that. Imagine yourself living and working in space. Okay? How does it look like? How does it feel working in space? I want you to imagine yourself working in space. Okay? You're living and you're working in space. So what would it be like to live on an island thousands of miles away from other people? Would you feel lonely? Okay. Is it kind of a special thing? Look at this island, okay? What would it be like to live on an island? Such place that is thousands of miles away from other people. Maybe you're living far away from your family, okay? Would you feel lonely? How about food? Will you be getting food? How about going out for a walk or having fun with the family members? How would it be like? Okay, so that's food for thought. So what makes a place unusual? Okay, life is harder for people who live or work in very unusual places. They might have to live very far away from other people, which often means that they need to take all the food and other supplies they need with them to survive. Okay, they can't just call for help when things go wrong. They have to fix things themselves. So now let's meet some of the people who live in places that are very different to our homes. So we are in our screen 3, okay? The title is In the Freezer. So before I start, I would like to ask you, what do you think, okay? What would it be like to live in a cold place? What would it be like to live in a cold place, okay? So now let's start reading. In the freezer. My name is Christina. Welcome to Antarctica, the coldest place on Earth. I spend a few months every summer living and working in Antarctica Research Station. Nobody lives here all the time because it is so cold and you can't grow food here. This is my research station. It is called the Halley 5 Research Station. So this is the research station. Look at it. Jobs in Antarctica. Most people live in the research stations are scientists, like me. There are also engineers who keep the machineries and vehicles working and chefs who cook for everyone. Almost the whole of Antarctica is made of ice. So we are going to see a small video Antarctica looks like, and we are pretty sure that place is very cold. So you can see that place is covered with ice, and this is their research this place. So you see, for them to move from one place to another, they have to make a rail so that they can move on that ice. So this is the research, the research station. This is how it looks like. So you can see inside the research station how it looks like. People are working inside. Okay, they live on it, and then they have the hospital. If they are sick, they can have a small health center where they go for a health checkup. And this is how it looks like at night. It's very beautiful. So this research station is very unusual. It is on legs. When the snow is very deep, the legs rise up to lift the station above the snow. The legs are on skies, so the research station can be moved to new places. So that's what you have just seen. So let's ask Christina some questions as she is ready to answer us. Okay, so what food do you eat? We only have fresh fruit and vegetables. An aeroplane arrives with supplies. The rest of the time, we eat tinned food like soups or tomatoes, or frozen food like meat or pizza. In winter, there are no deliveries. Okay. How do you keep in touch with your family? I keep in touch with my family back home using radios, the internet, and a special phone. So Christina has a special phone, or maybe she communicates with her parents through the internet. Okay, so what do you do for fun in the base? I relax by skiing or walking around the base. Indoors, we play table tennis, go to the gym, and watch films. Okay, so where do you get water from? That's easy. We melt the snow to get water to drink and wash. So how do you keep warm? I keep warm by wearing around 17 layers of clothing, as well as gloves, a hat, thick socks, and boots. It is important to have a waterproof top layer to stay dry. So those are the questions we've been asking Christina, and she's able to answer us. So now we want to find out what are the scientists trying to find out. So we want to really know why is Christina in Antarctica, okay? So she says that she is there for a research, okay? And she even showed us her research station. So now let's get to find out. What are the scientists trying to find out? Okay, scientists are learning about wildlife on land and in the ocean. Okay. Other scientists are trying to find out what happens if too much ice melts at the South Pole. So you can see, you can now understand why the scientists are in Antarctica, and you have known that, as you can see, most of the whole of Antarctica is made of ice, okay? It is covered with ice, even in the ocean is covered with the ice, okay? So that place seems to be very, very cold. Okay, so now that's it for today. We are going to discuss more. I'm going to send you some questions and I would like you to send in the answers. Okay, what is the most unusual place that you can live in? So that is the main question and I would like you to answer and send in your answers. Have a nice day and bye.